Yeah, I mean, the doctor called me last night and he said it wasn't contagious, but the bumps are getting bigger and I'm really, really worried.
Is it purple?
It's
Guys,
blue.
we are live.
Oh. Hi, yes, good afternoon and welcome back to our channel. As we know, this is Big Money Consultant. Where we explore different businesses all over the world and provide free consulting no matter what industry they are in. Isn't that right?
That's right, Monica.
That's right. So as you already know, we are your hosts. I'm Monica, and here with me today is my co-host, Raul.
Good morning.
And joining us online is our analyst, Karachu, who has spent the last decade consulting with firms operating in South America.
On today's agenda, we will explore the turbulent business environment in South America, specifically Colombia. Our analysts have identified several drawbacks within the construction industry, and we are fortunate enough to be joined by the Chief Operating Officer of Inversiones Promexport SAS. Our correspondent Gabriela will now join us live from a construction site in Cartagena, Colombia. Gabriela, how are you today?
Thank you, Rahul. I'm very well. I'm here today in Cartagena with Mariana Rojas, who is the CEO of the company. Hello, Mariana. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here.
Of course. So, to begin with, can you tell us more about the company, please?
Sure. Inversiones Promexport SAS is a construction company, family business, born in 2004 when in Colombia the construction industry was reactivated. With the small projects, we start in small cities near the capital and later on some other projects in other cities.
Right. So, how many active projects do you currently have?
We are now with 4 active projects, 2 in Melgar, 1 in Cali, and 1 in Cartagena, where is the only project that have investments outside because it's an industrial park where the new airport of Cartagena is going to be.
Okay, right. So we're obviously here today with BMC because you've been selected as one of the companies to get help and consulting from our analysts. So can you please tell us what is your company struggling with the most?
Yeah, sure. So now we are struggling with shortage labor since almost all our projects are governmentally linked. The margins are very low, and also because of political and social aspects in Colombia, the time frame of the projects are in constant review and they are extended. So normally a 6-year project will go to 7 years because of these problems, and the cost of the project will increase almost at 20%.
Right, thank you very much for that. Okay, thank you, Mariana, very much. Now we have Guido Signorini, the project manager here in Cartagena, to explain us the process flow from the beginning till the end. How are you, Guido?
Thank you for having me. This diagram shows the flow of our operations and what the usual steps towards the completion of a project usually are. Once the land has been allocated, we gather a team of experts that establish if the land is suitable for construction, and if not, we take the necessary step towards approval. Once that happens, a budget for the project is allocated and the legal requirements are met. And the next step is to gather the licenses and the legal approval so that the contract for the development can be signed. And after CEO approval, planning and allocation of resources, we only have to wait for the green light from the bank so that we can start building our marketing suites and start pushing our sales. And finally, once that happens and we manage to reach 30% of sales, we can finally start building the development.
Wow, guys, thank you for that insightful information. Our senior analyst, Karanchu, has been digesting this information, and let's see what he's come up with.
Well, thank you very much, Rahul, for having me. So from the very onset, I can see that there are quite a few problems that exist for the company. I think it's both a result of planning, but also the current process, and it needs a bit of work. The business environment is also quite a challenge to work with. So, as you know, Colombia is indeed a country riddled with a lot of complexities and bureaucracy, legal work, and so on. So workers don't have the same rights. We know all this sort of stuff. But the way natural businesses operate is a bit different compared to many other countries in South America and across the world. We're going to see how we can best improve your business processes to make it more efficient. So, Mariana, let's jump straight in. My first thought leans towards your process flow. So I was just making some notes earlier on. So looking at your process flow, so we always advise our clients that any process should be strategically designed around a couple of key objectives, and those are quality, speed, dependability, flexibility, cost, and sustainability. But from what you've told us, we need to really focus today on improving a couple of them, which is speed, dependability, and costs. So to clarify, when we talk about dependability, in this context, we're referring to, for example, how reliable resources are and deliveries of process resources and so on, the degree of disruption to scheduling and all these sort of factors. So how exactly can we improve your process? Well, my first thought leans towards changing the process flow. So Mariana, what I understand right now is that you have a long-standing reputation in Colombia. So you're well known, you've got good connections with the banks and other key stakeholders. The concern is less about will you get approval, more when you'll get the approval. So bank approval we know you'll get. It's just a checklist you have to satisfy. So because we know you'll get the approval, it might be simpler and we save a lot of time if you start building your show suites earlier on. So if we start building this, do the production of the show suites and the promotion of the project, of course, a couple months prior, around the time you're working on your weekly operations plan, I reckon for a 5-year project, like the ones you're working on, I'm estimating around a saving of 4 months worth of time. So that's assuming we reach the 30% sales. 4 months off a 5-year project is quite reasonable. Also, seeing that, you know, this is the minimum required before you can actually start production, this is good news for you. Now, the thing is, because you can't officially sell until you have bank approval, you can wait to do the official paperwork once you get the approval. Just get the interest lined up and get people ready to sign the papers. So now immediately, just by changing your process flow around, we've strengthened the process and the objective of speed and also cost, because we've just saved 4 months worth of costs for you. So Mariana, how does this sound so far?
It sounds really good, Karunchu. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I'm glad you like it. So I've got one more thought, right? This one's a bit more regarding your raw materials and inventory management. So please correct me if I'm wrong, Mariana, but from what I understand, right now you make a plan for about 5 years, then intermittently update it as you go along. Is that correct?
Yes,
Brilliant. And roughly how often do you purchase materials?
weekly.
Weekly, okay. So then I suggest this, right? If you know how much materials you need for the project, if you know how many you need for the project, based on original estimates, why don't you put a bulk order through at the beginning of your project with your supplier, of course, at a fixed and agreed upon price. Then get them to deliver the materials bi-monthly, in fact. I think that works better. Bi-monthly, this does a couple of things, right? It allows you to negotiate a better price for them, creates greater dependability, which is one of those process objectives, and allows them, the supplier, to forecast in advance. Now, we obviously know the turbulent business environment in Colombia, so suppliers aren't always dependable and reliable. This increases that. So that is one thing. It also allows you to negotiate a fixed price. So given that prices are quite constantly fluid due to changes in the dollar and so on, this sort of creates surety for you and also for the supplier that they're going to get the order. It also helps with budgeting and all those sort of other business processes, the more administrative parts. My third thing for this would be having orders bi-monthly will actually reduce the cost of transport of materials, right? Because you've got construction projects where you can keep all these materials, so that's not a problem. And I was making some more notes. Obviously, this helps when roads are closed. You can actually, due to all bureaucracy and all that, you can actually continue construction for a good few weeks at a stretch. So that will help you. And basically, my thought is achieving all of this will likely benefit you in cost, time, and the criteria of dependability, as we discussed. It's also worth noting that you should have a backup supplier because obviously you need to keep close connections with everyone. And pretty much based on what you've told me today, Mariana, that's what I can recommend. I mean, how does all this sound to you?
It sounds really good, Karunchu. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Mariana. Well, good to speak to you. Best of luck improving your business operations and look forward to hearing your success stories in the future. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, everyone. And
Don't forget to tune in next week when we dive into 21 Savage's tax returns. Happy
Happy
holidays
holidays
from yours
and to
truly
Trulies.
at Big Money Consulting. This is Monica and Rahul signing off.
see you later.
We're fucking good, man. Holy fuck.